Good evening, everyone. Welcome for the Olivet City Council meeting for October 28th, 2025. Can we please have roll call?
Mayor Clark,
Here.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil,
Here.
Councilmember Solomonov,
Here.
Councilmember Pashan Hellman,
Here.
Councilmember Lewis.
Here.
Okay, so we'll go on with communications.
I have no written communications.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go to the city manager's report.
In City Manager Jennifer Yackley's absence, I will have a short presentation. I haven't used Zoom in a long time. There you go. They changed the color of it. There we go. I'm sorry. Good. Upcoming events. City offices closed on November 11th for Veterans Day. That is a regular city council meeting day, but it is canceled, so we won't have anything there. Coffee with the Mayor is November 12th. Our guests will be the Olivet Turkey Trot committee members. I believe it's going to be David Moons and Jamie Fingerman, along with Jewish Family Services. It'd be Marion Seidenfeld and their CEO. I just misplaced their name. Either way, we'll have good guests, and we'll be debuting the shirts and special other goodie for sale. So make sure you tune in on the 12th. There's Turkey Trot right there. Thanksgiving morning. All proceeds are going to JFS. And there is, I'll mention a special need right now with threatening of some of the from the government shutdown, along with striking workers and furloughed workers at the federal government. There's an additional need for food. We do have a food drive going on currently at the city center here and at Five Oaks. So anytime you go, please try to remember to think of that and bring some food in for some folks in need. The word on the street from them is they're seeing people they have not seen in a long time, maybe more atypical than what you expect, needing some extra help. Our upcoming meeting, City Council work session next Tuesday, the 4th at 7 p.m. Planning Community Design Commission. A couple days after that, November 6th. And then, like I said, November 11th, regular City Council meeting is canceled. However, there will be a special meeting on the 18th, which will take place place of the two regular meetings, and then it's not on, or it is, it's further down. On the 25th, the city council meeting, I'm at the bottom of the page here, is also canceled. So on the 18th, we'll have a meeting at 7 p.m. take care of November's business. And then the following day, on the 19th, on Wednesday, is a Parks and Rec Commission meeting up at Five Oaks. And then the Planning and Community Design Commission will meet once again on the 20th. So busy week on the 18th there. But with that, that's all I have for us, any city manager's report. But I do have time for any questions if you have any.
Any questions from the council?
Not a question, just a reminder that, and Jennifer knows this, but I'm gonna miss next to the 4th because I'll be out traveling.
Do we need any help from the council for Turkey Trot at any point, do you know?
Volunteers are always welcome. You have special places. I'll try to keep, usually the volunteers are always welcome, but you, the council members, are better to be out and about cheering people on.
And also the council members join the mayor to present the check to the food pantry.
The Harvey Corn Blue.
Yeah.
Is that before or after the race?
After.
Before?
Oh,
It's
is it
after.
before?
Oh,
I think it's after the race.
It's
After the race, yeah, usually
After
we'll do
the
it after the race.
Yeah.
Give us a little time to do some scoring. Yeah. Yeah, Brian's trying to get out of doing registration, I think is really.
No, my fingers get cold.
I
I'm in
know.
charge of the
It's
computers
chilly.
every year, so.
Oh,
so if
okay.
anyone wants to help me with that, you have good technology skills. You can go.
Yeah.
I'm running with my, one of my daughters.
Well,
It's okay.
we can let you go at like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll
till.
let you go. That's fine. I'll sign you up.
We're
That's-
about to get
I-
one.
happy to
No,
help.
it's good. Yes, more than if you want, if you would like to help, more than happy to facilitate that with David Moons and the volunteer squad.
Okay.
It's a good time.
All right, so we're going to the staff reports.
Yeah, I guess I'll keep sharing. We'll go over here. Staff reports. Oh, no, there. Police department, overall, I think, you see our calls for service are down. If we look at this kind of chart here, see, there was a spike there in August and then everything's kind of calmed down. For the month of September, I can't speak to anything in October. But you can see this chart overall, stops, calls for service also, are trending down. If we go over to the fire department, there's some training, there's some rappelling there in the stair tower. That's good. A couple structure fires, nothing else. Their report. Well, I mentioned, all that fire department did. I have a working house fire yesterday. Everyone is okay. Is a good experience. Of course, you don't want the experience for some of our newer firefighters, but we're able to do a really good job of kind of containing that fire into a part of the house and saving the rest of it, which is what it comes down to when everyone is safe and out of the house. Parks and Rec. We had a dark sky, not dark sky, but a starry night, star event, along with an open mic night, which was again a really a big success. At let's see, 20, 30 people there. Youth Soccer League is wrapping up this week. I think it's good just as the weather turns, so perfect timing there. And then some, so on the south side of Stacy Park, as it abuts Emmanuel Lutheran Cemetery, not to be confused with where Emmanuel Lutheran Church and the cemetery is now. It's the older one. On the south side is abuts Warson and Stacy Park. There is a tree line there, and so they're reclaiming some of that, but then replacing with some other trees to keep that buffer there. Harvest Fest was on the 25th. Estimates 350 to 400 people. So it was a good time had by all. I think most of you were there, so you all, up to you if you had a good time. We have coming up the People's Choice movie. E.T. will be showing on November 7th at 7 p.m. at Five Oaks. We talked about Turkey Trot coming up, and then Susie Farron there will have be at the Keystone Art Gallery at Five Oaks coming up in December. I think Public Works has got a great report here. This is a new a sneak peek at what we're going to be viewing. Another great trail through part of the Great Rivers Greenway Trail. It'd be east of Dealman as it kind of works through down towards Price Road at the old rail bed. That's going to be another place to feel like you're not in the city at all. And then Bill's really happy to be laying or putting up rebar to lay curbing there. Public Works that's been there. It's been nice outside, so that always helps out. And then this is north of Alice, down just right over here is the new Irvington Place Apartments. But this is part of a greater connectivity point, getting people from the northeast quadrant into and towards as the Greenway gets built out. There's a new sidewalk that was negotiated as part of the agreement of the abatement with Irvington Place to provide sidewalks from, it'd be this, if we go down here and turn right here, right up here, you can turn, is that right, Carlos? I'm on the other side. Okay, I'm on the wrong side. But a sidewalks, a pedestrian can walk from anywhere in the northeast quadrant and enter the Greenway Trail, which was not really possible very easily without being on the street. The Alice is pretty tight right there, but there will be sidewalks all the way across. So that's good as that work continues. Go ahead.
So is this Covington right here?
That's
Hilltop?
Hilltop down.
Okay, then it's not Price, okay.
Yeah, is it? Oh, this is looking Irving. It's right here, isn't it? Yeah, Irvington Place is right there. So the Public Works building is right there. We're seeing the intersection of North Price and Alice right here.
Great.
But right behind us and to the right, as it goes up Hilltop, is another project, a CDB project going on to improve the sidewalks there with some of these ADA improvements. Yeah, so this is the beginning part. As Irvington Place is complete, the sidewalk will continue. And there's at the Public Works building at 1200 North Price is also a new sidewalk as it crosses right there. So again, part of that same project is really good project. And it puts a lot of pieces together. Bruce McGregor does a good job of that. And also as we were negotiating some of that abatement at Irvington Place, this is how this comes together, kind of negotiating for money and for improvements and knowing what we wanted when we went into those negotiations. Carlos, what have you been doing? We see a little bit of some of the pictures here of the befores and afters of at lot 3. So we were, at a bear, and now here it's even further than this now, right? It has a parking lot. You can go in there and park. And then the detention pond here again from a little bit different view. Irvington Place. Oh, this is right where we were talking. So a second ago we were looking. Oh, goodness. Right here. We were right here. The new sidewalk is right in here. And it'll be continued on through here. And then you can see some of the white sidewalk there right in front of Public Works. And this will be continued all the way through. The trail will be right there in front, well, as it comes through. So things are going good and they're busy at Carlos's group. Overall, I think we're above revenue projections on the new fees and being busy. That commercial permitting is always going to be based on one thing coming through, and I just closed what I wanted. So that'll conclude the staff reports. I'll let the clerk, want to take us on to the next set?
Monthly financial report.
That's right. Good. Okay, so as we kind of said, part of this will be what we talk about with permits, but general fund revenues above expectations, 21,000. Expenditures below by about 48,500. So that's a net favorable variance of 69,620. Well within our reserve policy for the 1 year. We'll be discussing the reserve policy in December for that 5-year long-term that time frame. Sales taxes are strong into September, but not for the kind of reasons we would have expected, which is more of a lesson in how we budget for these things, and some things give and some things don't. Aldi they did begin an increase from our expectations, but it was more of a one-off from catch up, and some of it the timing of the state. Use taxes propped up this category for September, and again, this is sometimes you'll see this give and this take, and overall, what we're really concerned with is are we kind of meeting these numbers in this long term, and are we able to project them accurately? Property taxes slow until December. Bills are coming out. We'll be able to get them here in the next couple weeks. And then utility taxes slow on a more temperate summer that we had. You remember it didn't rain a whole lot. When it doesn't rain, it does increase water usage. When it does rain, water usage goes down. It's been more temperate there through, we had a really nice spell in August. Anyway, all it means is we did not run our air conditioners as much, and so the utility taxes kind of go down for us as we all pay our bills. Parks and Rec, slower. They're below expectations. The soccer registrations were strong. They were right at expectations. Those membership and room rentals are stubborn, and they're really dragging that category down still. The remaining categories, which is where the permits lie that we talked about, we can go into any of the detail of this if we'd like, but it's all mixed. Licenses, medical transport are lagging a little bit, and then court permits, all those other things they're stable, sometimes up, sometimes down. Nothing to report. On the expenditure side, everything's real close to where we'd expect them to be at this, so nothing to report there. We'll look at our chart of the month. You can see where this orange line right here. We had this dip. Again, this is kind of losing out on some of the Aldi, just a timing difference. We received it back, got some here in October. If we were to do use tax, we'd see a big bump in this use tax for this month. With that, but overall, everything's just stable. These purple lines right here that comes in the last half looks a lot like this blue line right here, and I think our orange line is gonna be about a level right up in here with the addition of those all these sales taxes. So that's good. Development happens, and it takes time sometimes to see the results, but we'll start seeing them here. Open any questions?
Just curious, Harvest Festival, how is attendance compared to previous years? Mainly as it relates to this, because I know there's a fee for kids.
You bet. Overall, I don't know accounts. One of the weirdest things about this with finances, if one person comes in and pays $10,000, I'm like super happy, but we need like 10,000 people paying $1. And that's where, so this participation versus money gets intersected a lot. And so I don't think we made those revenue numbers, but it all comes down with, the costs also go down when we don't have those, but the participants are at 350, 400. I think we estimated more at like 600, 500, 600 last year. I don't know how accurate any of those counts are. Sometimes when you're busy in line, I mean, at Turkey Trot, you'd guess there's like 10,000 people there based on how many people are in line, but it's about
2,500.
Yeah, that's right. There's about 2,500 people there and 2,000 registered. So I don't know where that intersects with a lot of those things. I can definitely get that information. That's something that we're really concentrating on reporting. That should make it to that Parks and Rec Commission meeting.
Right.
I want participation at the Parks and Rec Commission meeting, and then the finances kind of can come in here and they'll intersect it during
I
budget.
don't think that they've been able to tally everything up yet, as far as like the numbers that approximation at this point, the 350 to 400.
Yeah.
And they're still, figuring out some of it out.
So what happens is we do know how many people paid, but then how many people came,
Yeah.
and that's a little bit different. And so let's
From a
make sure we
finance
have.
standpoint, I was
Yeah.
curious how many kids came that
Mhm.
were paying, because like we paid $45 for
Yeah,
our family.
you bet.
So
So every child had to pay, but all those adults,
Yeah.
the grandparents and all, like they were buying and eating, and so that was more revenue but
It's important to remember that, this is the first time we've kind of focused on this revenue side of this. We're pretty new at selling food. We're pretty new at charging people so we don't know where we're gonna hit. There is a survey going out, so I do encourage everyone that did attend or did not to please, fill that out. We want to know what's going on here. Did you have a good time? And that's really what it's about. It's really, did we have a good time?
Yeah.
We got a $10 million budget, $2,500 isn't gonna break a bank
Yeah.
but we can't have too many. And that's what it comes down to. So do we have a good time and do we recover what we thought? So good question.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
All right. Now time for our city council liaison reports. Oh, I thought you had already done that.
No.
Okay, have at it, sir.
All right, so our quarterly investment report for it's the third quarter of 2025 or the first quarter of this month. But we have our 3-month ladder that are a little bit longer. Sorry, short term, which these are each in 3-month increments. We talk about them one every month. We can see the rates here are really close to what we see all the way down. These are the rates that we're getting. Some of the 5%, and these are the ones that are past 1 year. So we have 3-month treasury bills, pretty larger amounts, and this is for liquidity. We keep keep everything closer. So every 3 months we got $2 million should something come up. Every month we have 2 million should something come up and need the money. And then we got this 12-month ladder at 250,000 each. Those keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. And then we have some of these longer term ones, and that was to take advantage of these higher rates. And these will lock in 5% for the next thing till you can see here, at least for the next year and some all the way out to 28. I anticipate this will continue. Into September is the leanest times for governments that rely on any sort of property taxes. We'll start getting $1 million, $2 million in the next couple months, and so we've kind of made it through. So I expect this to continue. I don't think we'll need any cash coming from this investments, and we can let this money work and earn us some money. So well, I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the report.
Okay,
when is the pension board meeting next? Do you know?
It should be meeting. It's next Thursday, the 6th.
Okay.
I did make the list earlier.
Thanks.
okay, we'll go on with the city council liaison reports. We'll start that. Whoever wants to go first?
I'll
Go
go
ahead.
first. PCDC met on the 16th. Couple of things to call out. I'd been tasked kind of to go to PCDC and talk about areas from the comprehensive plan we wanted them to work on. Our meeting went 3 hours, so I was at the end of that meeting, so I did not spend a lot of time on that. So I kind of gave them a quick overview of it, but then the plan is to follow up with them more, so it might be a little bit delayed on coming back. One thing that I just want to add to the list of things we want to follow up and talk about, and Maxine, you may have information on this, is a topic that got brought up before that I hadn't heard before was wayfinding signs. So if you think about, you go to Maplewood, you see the sign that says Maplewood over the banner, and people are talking about all of it as this, sense of place. So like maybe when you cross under 170, should we have signs that say Olivet? It sounds, what I was told, and I wasn't here for the history, was that this Parks and Rec said no in the past, that they wanted to kind of control that or work on the overall sense of place and how those signs came up, but it hasn't, whether it's funding or whether it's come together. I know nothing more than that, but I thought it was an interesting thing. The council was very interested in it, or the committee was very interested in, like, why do we not have signs that say welcome to Olivet in larger senses? I'm not sure if you can speak on it, or maybe it's something to discuss.
I can, there's a little history here. It does go back. It does come back down to funding a little bit. But I can give a better, we can send out a
Yeah, and maybe it's a
history, kind of where we are.
discussion topic to
It's
add
a
for-
really good, like plan that we are using right now. And that's why the signs at the parks look like they look. That was
Well,
a piece of it.
And the parks are great, and I think the parks
Yeah.
actually have the sign in. It was more about kind of the roads and things like that.
It's all part of the same project. The wayfinding's all part of the same project for the welcome signs in Olivet, and there used to be like a small little green sign, like when you were on Dealman and Price and
Yeah,
Olivet and Olive Street Road, and it's being phased because of funding. And
Sure.
so it's gonna happen, it's just hasn't happened as timely as I think people would have liked.
But
but
if
I-
it's coming up again, let's revisit it.
Right.
And see if
Yeah.
that's the direction we
curious.
want to go.
I just want to be
That's
able to
good.
tell them either way. What's
And
going
I think that there is, unfortunately, without the wayfinding, there is so much more signage going in around like the basin. When I went to get on 170 the other day, I noticed there's a lot more signage around the Olivet, the word, is out there more, but we have discussed it. And I was under the impression it was still in the phase stage. So we'll just have, put it
And-
back on.
And I
our,
think part of the reason it came up is with all the developments in New City, people are saying, oh, the Costco and Olivet, or oh,
Right.
this, we're like trying to say, no, this is where we are, this is where
So,
you see.
my recommendation would be to ask that when Sydney and I meet with Jennifer Yackley next week, that we can ask her to put on a workshop and bring everyone. up to
Exactly
speed
what I was
on
looking
we can
for.
decide where it goes next.
Perfect. The other thing is, let's see, we talked about the Olive Crossing, a lot about landscaping and just, areas around that, some concerned citizens around the Courtyard Hotel that they're looking at, and Carlos is tracking that down. And then we had further discussions on ADU accessory dwelling units in terms of we need to make a decision from, they're gonna eventually come to us to say, what is our view on accessory dwelling units? Should they be 2-story? Should not be 2-story? What's the expectations around those? So expect that to be a topic in the future. And then obviously the restaurant, which Carlos will be presenting to us tonight. So
So I got a few things. October 21st, I went to the Cool Cities meeting that was at Beyond Housing up in Berkeley, and it was a great show, the biggest turnout that I've seen for one of these meetings. Carlos and Don were there. It was on trees and native plants. And it was kind of an overview of how beneficial trees and native plants are. And then on October 25th, I participated in the Trash Bash, which was wonderful and fun, headed up by Bruce. And Dawn was also there, Dawn Doty from planning. There were about 10 people who came out to volunteer. But I think it's really fun to go tromping through the stream and picking up trash, and my kids did too. My son was in waders in the stream, so it was good opportunity to just work in the community. And then last night the Economic Development Commission met and spent a good amount of time going over the roles and responsibilities that are outlined in section Article 3 of the codes, and also did a discussion about doing a work session for the EDC, which is slightly unusual. My sense is that does not or has not happened often. And the desire is for the commission to really hone in on their own mission, vision, and values, specifically pulling in things from the strategic plan and the other plans that have been developed by the EDC. Two things that came up for the council to think about and discuss at a later date. It was an unusual situation for the EDC where we had 2 members who were on Zoom, 2 members who were present, and 1 who was unable to attend. For a commission of 5, it is required to have 4 people present in order to vote on anything. But the codes are apparently written in such a way that it's not clear whether it's okay for them to be on Zoom. And just also having to need a supermajority of 4 for that commission in order to vote on something is unusual because it's more than just the simple quorum So something I think that we as a council should look at potentially changing and updating, especially around being present via Zoom. And then also a question that came up was to get some more direction from the council on how to approach development strategies. What does the council want to see from the Economic Development Commission? And especially since there's 3 of the 5 who are new members, the commission is really looking to see what kind of direction this council will take with economic development. So I think that's another potential work session.
Maxine and I went to the Housing Authority meeting, and she's going to present on our behalf.
So today was a housing authority meeting. And at Rothwell Heights, which is down the street on Dealman, right before you get to the railroad tracks, that's where it's located for those of you who aren't familiar with it. And so everyone comes from the St. Louis County Housing Authority that work on behalf of the Olivet Housing Authority. And they each gave reports. So we received like a budget report, we received the occupancy report and some other reports on some projects that they're working on. So at this point in time, 100% filled. They're going to be starting to work on some of the sewer laterals down there for the families. And they're, waiting to hear on some grants. The first application they worked on has not been received, and then there's some grants that we're waiting on to see if they'll receive those. And the budget and everything was really on target, and they're really a pleasure to work with, and we meet quarterly. So I attended with Sydney that today, and then last Wednesday night on the 22nd, I went to the Parks and Recreation meeting, and I think that Darren covered most of it with the pictures. I wasn't gonna do it as lovely with the pictures. I was just gonna do it more anecdotal. One of the things that we did talk about was the membership, and they're kind of pulling the membership apart so that next month when I report about the membership, I'll be able to say the membership numbers are a little skewed, and that when we give the numbers, it includes the active renew. And active renew is something that people don't have to pay a membership for, but we get reimbursement from their health care for. And this is like like Silver Sneakers, but it's not Silver Sneakers, but it's the same concept. And so it's through UHC, I believe, and Blue Cross. I think I'm not sure what the other one is. And so the active renew, they're pulling those people out of the numbers. They're pulling the employees out of the numbers so that we can see like how many employees, how many are through corporations, and how many are residents or family residents. So we're still close, even with pulling some of those out, the number of residents is still close to that 900. And right now, because we're coming up on our 3-year, November 5th, next week is when we did the ribbon cutting there. So right now is when people are starting to renew their memberships, because they didn't go into effect until October, November that year. So it was a good meeting, and a lot of the talk at the meeting was about the Harvest Festival, which is come and gone. And I'll look forward to reporting back to you next month about the actual numbers and finances and how that all went. But besides being a chilly night, it was great. And I think Kate's family gets a shout out. Her high school kids and her husband were working the kitchen all night. So I love that we've taken over making the food and serving it, because I think that just, it just flowed. It worked out really well. I heard great things about the hayride. I didn't go on it because of my own asthma, but it was a busy night. And I enjoyed spending time with all of you. So it was great.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I got a chance.
I don't have a report at this time.
Okay.
Next week.
All right, so at this point, we're going to hearing from citizens. We don't see any on line, and there are none in the audience, so we'll move forward on to bill number 3053. If I could please have someone read that for us.
Bill number 3053, an ordinance authorizing a special permit use to Easy Storage Olivet LLC to operate a 3,772 square foot full-service restaurant on the property grounds addressed as 9538 Olive Boulevard, Zone COR, Commercial Office Retail District.
Go
Good
ahead.
evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the planning director for the city of Olivet, and tonight before you is Bill 3053. I did request a first reading and scheduled a public hearing for November 18th, contrary to our normal rules of order. And there, the reason for the having the reading and then the public hearing subsequently or second was given the schedule and the timing for just the November meeting in there. So to assist the petitioner and to accommodate the plan commission process, was faced that I would miss the publication deadline for that. So that's why I'm requesting a first reading at your first meeting, and then the public hearing November 18th. The publication deadline for that is this coming Monday. And this would this bill would authorize a special permit use for a full service restaurant at the Easy Storage facility, the lower level, the retail level. The city had anticipated retail or restaurant use for this area in there as part of the review process, and they've been the developer. I'll give them credit, being very patient and looking to obtain a restaurant type of tenant for that facility. In this case, full service. And there, I'll be glad to answer any specific questions, but we'll go through a public hearing and explanation of the process. I'll also have the applicant in attendance for that. But if there's any early questions, I'd be glad to answer that.
Do they have anybody in mind?
Yes, the tenant under contract is called The Taste of Jiangnan. It's an Asian restaurant. It is local. It's their first restaurant,
Mhm.
and it is a full service restaurant that they'll be operating.
Cool.
And is that 3 bays or 4 bays?
They will be taking it's the 3 remaining bays, kind of 2.5. Domo took a little bit more on the eastern half, and it'll be a great complementary use between the two tenants.
Any questions from the council?
Maybe just worth talking about the parking,
Yes,
Yeah, that
situation.
was my question.
because that's something they covered.
yes. So part of the Easy Storage is working with Mr. Clackner, who operates Olivet Lanes next door, where they will lease and eventually seek to purchase 16 additional parking stalls on the Olivet Lane property. The property has more parking stalls that's required by code. I think they're over by 25. And they're gonna restripe the parcel ground, so the parking will be perpendicular to the building as you go north to south. And then kind of move that driving lane eastward towards the bowling alley in there, and provide an additional 16 stalls. Based the way our code works, they will still have more parking than what would be required by code in there, I believe, by 4 extra stalls. And there is a diagram, Mr. Mann, that kind of illustrates. There we go. Thank you, sir. And then I have a little aerial shot of the bowling alley down there for reference.
So those parking spots there marked in yellow, that does not exist right
That
now.
does not exist
So
at
they'll
this
have
point.
to like
Correct, yes.
remove some of the parking that's perpendicular to those in order to accommodate for that?
That is correct.
Restrict the whole-
Yeah, yeah.
And they currently have a cross access and some lease agreements with the bowling alley property.
So we don't anticipate the same issues as we have with Great Heart Brewery with the parking.
Yeah,
Sounds like this
that-
would be a better solution.
Correct, and that's why we restrict their hours in there. The issue with the Great Harbor is well parked as per code, but the circulation and the lack of having a second outlet
Mhm.
onto Olive really kind of hurts that in there. And that was by their design, with the hope that someday there'll be some expansion either east or west of that to accommodate that. So they do have we secured a cross access easement between both sides of the property if for some reason the Eden Rock or the bowling alley redevelop.
Mhm.
Okay.
Carlos, this a question that I have. Um, and I'll just be clear that I'm not totally sure how to state it, but being forward thinking, and seeing a restaurant of this size and being aware that the restaurant business, especially small, independently owned restaurants, can be a volatile market. Do you, and I'm excited for this restaurant. I want to maybe preface everything with that, is that I'm excited for a sit-down restaurant. Do you have any concerns, or are there questions we should be asking and thinking about for a restaurant coming in of this size? For a first-time restaurateur?
No, it's a good question. We look at it in the way the bill is crafted, and in terms of our ordinance, we secure that it would always be a full service restaurant. If there was something that came in, there's two parts to your question. One about this tenant and the long-term tenancy or possibility, and yes, restaurant business is our risk. And the way we crafted the ordinance and this bill, and how our zoning ordinance works, given that we reference what we call the North American Industrial Standard Classification System. So they identify business type of entities, and there's one for food service, and there's multiple types of food services. There's, so you have your drive-throughs, you have your fast foods, you have your buffets, and then you have your full service. Full service is defined as when somebody comes to your table to take your order and then brings your order to you directly. And the way this bill is crafted is to ensure that that is the authorization the council would be given a full service restaurant. So yes, there is ability that Jiangnan could be bought out or change over time, but that if they wanted to do a different type of business service, let's say like Sugar Fire, they would have to amend they'd have to come back to the to petition the commission to amend that ordinance. So I know that doesn't directly secure the concern, but that's how it's kind of laid out in that process. I hope that kind of addresses that question, or if there's something you.
I understand your concern. I guess to me, it's actually a great size for a first time, because I think about like Olive Crossing, there's potentially a much larger restaurant. So that would be a risk, I think, of a new restaurant. But this isn't a huge, the number of tables they have is not massive. It's at least a good-
65 seats.
it has a good number of seats, but it's not the size of something else. And we love the idea. I know you love it too, but like this independent restaurant, new owner, I'm excited about the new business. So.
And it's tough, and if I can add something, we got time, I hope. Sorry. But, as we try to look at, balancing small businesses and franchises, and we are cognizant of that. I mean, the Chick-fil-A's, the First Watches, they're performing a role on goals and visions in another community, which I think is valid of what they're trying to do. Here, we try to balance those. The Easy Storage has a Chapter 100 agreement with the city of Olivet, and in that process, we try to, not to say control who the tenants are, but we are. I think the term we use from the Catalyst strategy is we're trying to be picky. So they've held off on not providing personal service type of businesses. We wanted something that could help us sales tax wise, or generate some sales tax wise. So we also wanted something that was quaint, something that was mom and pop too in there. So it starts turning the risk this way, and then we're trying to turn the risk back to the middle by balancing it with a Chapter 100 in their process. And they've been
Can you
pretty
tell
good
me
to
more
do.
about Chapter 100?
Chapter 100 allows them to abate some of the property tax in there. It also allows them to secure like the construction costs tax-free in there, as opposed to a TIF, which has an abatement and then the sales tax.
Thank you.
And that's just a really short, a little more complex in there, but the big differences. So that's the same thing we tried to do with the Shops at Price Crossing. It was the first Trigger Fire. They've been pretty successful, but then there was a Jimmy John's, which was a chain. So we tried to, and then Revel Cup, in there. So we try to, work and balance that out and not have that. If, I'm sure if the developers had their druthers, they would probably secure something that has a bigger financing arm behind them and such. And that's why, again, on the other side of town, it probably works in terms to their vision. Our goal is always trying to, is to take that risk and be cognizant of what we also have to do to try to make it work. In there, we use the best planning tools we have, and sometimes those are those abatements in there. But I think, again, it was purposeful. They knew not to come back with something that was that personal type of service, which usually is like a beauty shop, something that you generally don't buy tangible products. They looked at different retailers, different standards, and then they also knew that the city wanted to get more restaurants in there. And I think this was a pretty good one that they secured. And if not, there's the other potentials if, once this bill passes, let's say if it does change names or so, that we still secured it to be kind of full service in there. And if not, that it's got to come back through the process, because the thought or the vision may change over time. So I hope that kind of addresses. It's a very good question. It's hard to answer. So.
And I would like to add that the previous council, previous two councils had met multiple times with the owners of, when they were building Easy Storage, in the process of what was acceptable and unacceptable in the bays. They would throw out suggestions, and we sat and shared with them the vision, and a lot of it was based on input from people in the community. And we kept hearing loud and clear that people really want a nice sit-down restaurant. I think it also speaks to the diversity in the community, the kinds of restaurants we're getting, and, Brass Tap, and now, help me with the name,
French baguette.
The terrace
the
again.
Taste of
Oh, the taste of Jiangnan.
Jiangnan is also a first to Missouri. I think it's the first one in the country, right?
It's local. It's,
Oh.
I like to say we did Google it or do an internet search, and there is one in Shanghai.
Oh, that's.
And this
okay.
is their second.
Well, I
location,
saw
but-
one in
but I don't-
Singapore.
I don't- or it was
Yeah, I saw one in
Singapore.
Singapore, so I thought, oh, they're coming from
So-
Singapore. But on a serious note, but I think that we're getting these like ones that aren't chains, and that was
Yeah.
something that we were really adamant with them. Sydney and I sat through a lot of those meetings talking about, because some of the things they had talked about putting there, we didn't want somewhere like a team, like a mobile store that sells mobile, phones. We didn't want that. We wanted somewhere where people could gather and be more of a community gathering place in a restaurant. And we kept hearing over and over that people wanted somewhere not just to pick up food or to walk out with, but to be able to sit and have a family dinner.
We didn't want something that it looked or felt like something you put next to a Quick Trip. We wanted to have a unique feel to it. Like
It
she
sounded
said,
like you said next to, not, you missed the word not.
no, I don't want anything that looks like it would be next to a Quick Trip, if I didn't say that right. But yeah, we wanted to make sure it had a nice feel to it. Place in a nice summer evening, you can just kind of walk up there and have dinner, get kudos from the wife,
And I
Fuck
think
that.
that Easy Storage hurt us because it's taken them so long to.
Yeah,
find
well, and it's
something.
that, I mean, they've done, Darren, I don't know, what is it, 3 years that they've been in,
Yeah, under
but
the
that's
abatement.
3 years that they've have not taken in, lease fees or revenues from a lease
Mhm.
in that process, knowing what the city was looking for. And I'll add too, and part of it's on our role to articulate, a lot of it's reflected in these plans that we put together, whether it was the original comprehensive plan, the catalyst strategy, and now the current plan, that what we heard and what the council hears when you go out there, doing door knocking and all that, that people want something unique, or they don't want a franchise or something, the big corporate type of thing. And, that would be to me, I would reflect the same thing with the outlot at the Oliver. They know that, they've had interest in there, and they know that, in discussions like what, the council's going to give you a hard time in there. That's not what we had talked about in the beginning and all that. And I think they're looking at the market and trying to find out how that balance works, and that's on them to figure it out. We hope within the next several months that we'll have something in there, but this is another one, we've been working with Easy Storage, noting that, the community vision is not to have another chain store. Nothing wrong with them. It's just, you know, we're, you know, we want a balance, and we have plenty here, and we have a lot locally, or, you know, just along the corridor with our neighbors.
So I'll bring this full circle. It's always about Carlos, for one. He's always got plans for something. But in all seriousness, though, what you just talked about, Kate, is the same thing. There's a redevelopment discussions on where are we at today. You know, how do we curate this mix of people? And we have zoning to make decisions, to be able to say we don't want that. And there's layers of this. And what's everyone's role in this between the city staff? What's the role of the planning commission in deciding what this thing looks like and where should it be there at all? And then we have the special use kind of a process of, you know, does council want this too? And part of that education piece is what are the citizens saying in their plans, and, you know, what does the council want? And we had a council went through a big push of redevelopment, and this is what we're talking about. Curating the, you know, if you want an abatement, we want some things too, whether it be sidewalks or you know, a good mix of tenants in our spaces. And so this will continue. Part of it starts with that EDC discussions. Planning Commission is going through those same things. And we have Carlos here too.
Just one last question on this to kind of key made me think of this. So if this restaurant doesn't make it, let's say 3 years from now, another full service restaurant could go in without an additional.
They'll have to meet
bill.
the same criteria, yes.
Okay,
So.
so we're kind of adding the usage of the space to this, right? More than the restaurant
yeah,
itself.
through that definition of what's defined in our code, it's that leaves it like it has to be a place where somebody sits down and somebody comes to get your order.
And even though the space is built out as such, it doesn't mean that they can just hand this off to somebody else. It has to be, it will go through the same process of a recommendation from Planning Commission on going through, and then the council would get another special use permit. And that's by design of, do we want to keep doing this, and is this the right fit? So that's, again, all by kind of design.
Do all restaurant uses require a special permit or just
Yes,
full?
it's a pretty standard planning thing. So in any community, most restaurants would require a special permit. Now, we have carved out in a adjoining district in our city center district and our MU district also, that if it, you know, based on the square footage, we'll exempt certain restaurants in there to try to expedite or provide economic activity in there. So if somebody was going to come in with a, you know, a 6,000 square foot standalone restaurant, they're going to have to petition the city for a special permit. They'll be classified in one of these, you know, is it fast food? Is it, you know, full service? Is it buffet? And then we'll come and petition to you in there. Other communities may just do it slightly different. What we can't do is if you have a full, get in trouble here, a full service restaurant, somebody comes in and provides full service in there, but it's like, oh man, that's not the type of activity or restaurant we wanted. You know, we can't be picky about as long as they provide that same service. Now the council has other tools in their pocket, like the liquor license requirements or you know.
Carlos, where right now do we have that the restaurant could come in and essentially by right now has could
So Kicking Crab, the Shabu Shabu and all those. And again, I don't know if some of you recall the old Chinese buffet that used to be in there. That's how they were crafted. And that's how we kind of expedited like some of these occupants to come in.
Sure.
Because
And so
sometimes their
the
time is
exception
money.
here is at the gateway, in the TIF district, there's a
Mm-hmm.
site plan, and that would not be subject to special use, correct?
Correct.
Right.
The
So those
council-
have been allowed by council under that site plan to expedite this process.
Within the council's developers agreement, they have authorized the standalone type of restaurants. So, good questions. Appreciate that. The one thing I'll note, and it's not through me, and you know, I'm only the face only because I have the tools that have been provided by council to back me up, because I'm a pretty shy guy. So it, you know, it is the staff, it is all those plans that you have put effort in and funded in there. So that it doesn't go through me. And I know Darren's joking in there, but it is something, again, you know, it is you know, I'm here just to try to push what the community have provided or articulated within those plans. So. Pardon?
Still need the public hearing?
That, no, that'd
joking.
that'd be nice.
All right, we can talk about it again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
in
sure
a
to
couple
talk-
weeks, we can talk.
Now, they did get stuck at the commission meeting. Mr. Commissioner Lewis had noted it was 3 hours and they were last on the agenda. So I told him that just to be here for the November 18th and they'll be to answer your questions.
Yeah.
And all that. So appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr.
All
Trent.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
All right, so now we have hearing from citizens part 2. I don't see any citizens out in the audience. Don't see any online, so we'll move on to item 11, review and acceptance of minutes. Did anybody see any changes that needed to be addressed? Okay,
No.
then I will accept a go.
Like to make a motion to accept the minutes from October 14th, 2025.
Second,
Okay, so it's been seconded and we'll move forward and then we'll go with the city attorney's
Need to call a
report.
vote.
I need to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's have a
That's all
vote.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Pashon Hellman.
Yeah.
Councilmember Solomonov.
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Weil.
yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Okay, now it's official. Okay, let's go on with the city attorney's report. Do we have any?
No report this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so done. All adjourned.